Hello and what is going on YouTube, it's Runescape here, and today I have a video for you guys showing you how to kill Ripper demons and make tons of money. Now if you're anything like me, you've seen other YouTubers make videos on this and you've gone and tried them and you've died a lot and you haven't got the method down. So I've learned from all of the mistakes that I've made and realised exactly what you need to do this efficiently, effectively and relatively easily as well. So today's guide is going to be showing you how to kill Ripper demons using Legacy, barraging them, and all of the tips and tricks that you're going to need on your journey. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd heavily recommend doing so. We're uploading tons of content, tons of guides, and tons of methods for you guys to make money and improve your account. We have a series on the go at the moment showing you how I make money personally at the top end of the game. So if any of that interests you, feel free to drop a subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Let's take a look at the requirements that you're going to need for this method. First up, 96 Slayer. You need this to be able to kill the Rippers, so this is mandatory. You're also going to have completed Desert Treasure in order to be able to use Ancient Magics, which is what we're going to be using. You need a Royal Cannon with the restock option. You can get this by obtaining favour at the Artisan's Workshop. Without this, the method simply won't work. You cannot run and refill your cannon, as this would simply make it so you take too much damage and it would mess up the lure. 96 Summoning is needed in order to actually capture the Rippers with the binding contracts. In order to obtain binding contracts and unlock Ancient Summoning, you need 68 Archaeology and you need to have completed a Dagon Buy mystery. You're also going to be using a Unicorn Familiar, so 88 Summoning is also required, but this is irrelevant as you need 96 to do the method in the first place. As many of you are aware, and the requirements also show, this is a high level method. This is not tailored towards low or newer players, but it is useful if you guys want to see how much money you can make at the end game with various methods and encourage you to grind out some of these stats and requirements so that you can make some insane money. Now let's actually take a look at what I'd recommend in terms of your stats. You're going to need 90 plus magic. It really does not take long to max out all of your combat stats in today's age because you're able to get tons of XP doing various methods. There's loads of videos out there, so if you haven't maxed out your combat stats, go do that now. I'd also recommend at a bare minimum that you have Supreme Overloads. Elder Overloads are going to be the best, but I'm aware that not many of you have them, and they are not necessary for the method. I know that unlocking higher Herblore levels can be really daunting to newer players, but it pays for itself. The extra efficiency that you get by having the max overloads is insane. It's the same as getting 99 in your stats effectively from 80. It's a massive jump. It's an extra 21 tiers of damage. Don't sleep on these. Go get your overloads done if you haven't already. Let's jump into the gear setup that I'd recommend that you use for killing Ripper demons. So first up, as a bare minimum, tier 80 magic armor is a must. You need defensive bonuses here to stay alive. I personally use Elite Tectonic as this is going to give you the best offensive bonuses in the game whilst not compromising your offensive stats too. On top of this, I'd recommend at least a Noxious Staff. The Inquisitor's Staff is best in slot when killing Ripper demons, however as we're going to be targeting the dummy, it doesn't actually benefit from the tier 97 that it normally does. So it is actually better to use a Staff of Slisk when killing these. However, there is one Ripper demon that you target every single time it spawns, as I'll show later on in the method. So even though I'm not benefiting from the tier 97 damage the whole time, I'm benefiting from it enough to make it worthwhile. Cinderbane gloves work here, and so does Weapon Poison, so you're going to want to bring them. On top of that, if you're learning this, Ring of Death is a must-have. You are going to die. These are not easy to do, but hopefully the guide can help you get to grips with the method that you should be doing and understanding the mechanics of the method itself. So when you get the hang of this, you notice in my preset I don't bring a lot of food and I've got a Luck of the Dwarves. It's because the risk is actually relatively low when you're used to killing these. So learn them first, bring some food, bring a Ring of Death, and then gradually remove them as you won't need to clutch on them as much as you do this more. Magic note paper is also a must as you're going to need to note the Ripper pouches as you get them. That's self-explanatory. Whenever you're using magic and doing AoE damage from bursting, you want to be using a Zamorak book. The pages are cheap and it does great AoE damage and also has a chance of stunning the enemies, so these are great here as well. Of course, bring your best overload potions and aggression potions. These are mandatory. You can't do it without them. If you're struggling at first, you can depend on the cannon to aggro the Ripper demons and then slowly build up to using an aggression potion so that you can survive. However, I'd recommend following the guide and learning it how I did, and that way you'll be able to do this optimally in a short amount of time. You're also going to want to make sure that you bring your royal cannon and cannonballs. As mentioned earlier, you're going to want the auto refill option. This method is simply not possible without it. A spring cleaner is also really nice as they drop a ton of alks. Speaking of which, in terms of drops, they drop a lot of uncut dragonstones. So the gem bag is also worth bringing, especially if you have the upgrade. Next up, your method of healing is going to be using a unicorn familiar. So you're going to want to make sure you have healing aura scrolls. I'm going to show you the most optimal way of using this so that you don't lose any kills, and more importantly so that you stay in combat without getting killed. Of course, you're going to want to make sure you have your binding contracts. Personally, I only do these on Slayer tasks, so you'll need 150 of these for a demon task. I'll show you the most effective way to make these later on in the video. An Enhanced Excalibur is useful for when you're in a close situation and you want to just get some cheeky heals, which when learning, this is going to be especially useful. You're going to want to bring Spiritual Prayer Potions opposed to Super Restores. I bring 2 to 3 and that normally lasts me for the full task. And if you run out of summoning points and are unable to heal using your Healing Aura Scrolls, just simply take a dose of this, it will regenerate some of your summoning points and enable you to heal again. One of the most important things for this is a combat dummy. You're going to want to bring these. They are from Treasure Hunter, so stock up on them whenever you do your spins. And most importantly, don't waste your combat training dummies. Instead, make the Mark II ones from Invention and use them instead. Blood and Death Runes in a rune pouch. I use this and equip it so that I have more space to manage the loot. You're going to be using the Blood Burst spell to save money. If you did want to get more kills an hour, you could switch to Blood Barrage, but it's at an exceptionally higher cost. So I wouldn't recommend doing so, and it heals the same amount, so you don't actually need it. Now that we've covered the preset, I'm going to jump into some useful items that I'd recommend using. First up, let's take a look at the relics. You're going to want to use a Death Ward relic if you have it, and this will reduce the amount of damage that you take from any source the lower hit points you are, effectively increasing your survivability. The Death Note relic is insane here because it will clean up all of the loot on the floor, noting all of the infernal ashes. It's not so much the benefit of the extra GP that you make by using this, even though it's a nice touch. It's more so that you haven't got loads of ashes on the floor, clogging up your inventory. If you do not have this, you can bring Infernal Urns, but obviously this is going to be the best alternative. Finally, Slayer Introspection. As I said, I like to do these on a Slayer task. You're going to be getting more bang for your buck. And most importantly, doing Slayer breaks up the monotony of grinding. And this relic in particular actually further enhances that by allowing you to maximize the amount of Slayer monsters that you kill on your favorite tasks and kill the lowest amount on your non-favorite tasks. In a similar fashion, a Slayer Cape will actually let you pick 1 out of 5 tasks if you have the 120 Slayer Cape, of course. And this will enable you to pick demons as a cluster task from Lanakeia, enabling you to kill these even more often. The Tier 3 Slayer Lodge upgrade from Anachronia also enables you to benefit from the Slayer bonuses without wearing it. So if you're going to be doing this on tasks, this is a must-have item. In a similar vein, the Premier Artifact extends your tasks. A lot of people don't actually know this, but you can select the option that makes it so you benefit from the dedicated Slayer aura without having an aura on. And this essentially extends your task by 10%, so if you're going to be doing this, you might as well have it on. You can use this once a day. Power Burst of Vitalities are extremely useful for when you're setting up, so that you can double your hit points when you need to. And this will be really useful when you're first learning. I still personally use them from time to time, but they're not necessary by any means. A Luck of the Dwarves is good here because these have a very high chance of dropping rare drop tables, and you're going to beat yourself up if you misroll a HSR drop, so I definitely recommend this when you're competent and don't need the Ring of Death. And finally, a Vampirism Aura is a must-have here. This is one of the big ways that you're going to sustain your health alongside Blood Barraging, so make sure you have this as well. Is by using the Tavali Summoning Shop, and the way that you want to do this is by bringing your noted materials and simply selling them to the shop and buying them back. I know a lot of you will be saying, well, this is going to cost more money. It's going to save you a lot of time, and in that time you're going to make 10 times the money. So the best method for making binding contracts in-game, you come here, you sell 300 of each. You're going to lose roughly 20 of each of them by the time that you've made all of them. This isn't the end of the world. It's going to streamline the process. And simply, you're going to buy 10 of each. You're going to make 5, and then repeat the process, making 10 of each, making 5. And do this until you have enough binding contracts that you need. And it's very fast and efficient. If you've done the other methods, you'll realize how quick this is as soon as you do it. So don't sleep on this. This is the way that you want to do it. Now let's actually get into the method itself. So you want to come in and put your cannon where I do, on the cross section of the rails in the room. Do not start firing your cannon yet. Drink your overload and your prayer renewals. Don't drink your aggression. Run over to the little alcove that I do, and you're going to want to step one step away from you, facing in the direction that I do, and then you're going to want to place a melee combat dummy. This will last approximately 20 minutes, which is more than enough for your task. And then simply run back into this spot, drink your aggression potion, turn on your cannon, and then wait for all of the rippers to pile up onto you. For now, what you're going to do is use your blood burst on the dummy itself. Every single time you do an action, such as eat, drink a potion, note the ripper scrolls, you're going to lose aggro onto this dummy and have to click again. A quick way that you can do this is by simply pressing a spell from your magic book. But the thing is, you want to optimize the process and you don't want to be doing this. So once you get set up in the swing of things, as you can see on screen, there's one ripper that spawns next to you and it comes over and attacks. Now it's very important that you attack this as soon as it spawns. You're going to get your Inquisitor staff damaged by doing so, but most importantly this enables you to use auto retaliate, and every single time that you heal, every time that you loot or do any action when attacking this ripper, it will automatically retaliate. So effectively, you're going to want to make sure you're doing these things when you're attacking the lone ripper and not the dummy. And then simply once this dies, go back on the dummy and rinse and repeat when it respawns. There is nothing else special to this method. Some people will tell you to focus on their adrenaline bars and attack them when they're getting high, but the point is, it's only this one that spawns that's going to use its special attack. So as long as you attack it every single time that it spawns, you're going to find it very easy to do this, and I didn't actually get this method down until I've understood fundamentally why I was dying, and this is the reason why. Keep on this one. Don't loot when you're attacking the dummy, loot when you're attacking this one. And another major thing as well, you need to click on the dummy instantly after this dies. If you don't, you're going to auto-retaliate on one of the other rippers and it will drag you out of the pile. So don't AFK when doing this. It's not an AFK method. You're going to want to just make sure you're doing the same rhythm. Attack the dummy at first, wait for that one to spawn, attack that one. While you're attacking it, loot all of the loot, heal as you can, and then attack the dummy, as seen in the video. So now let's take a look at the juicy stuff. How much money can you expect to make an hour by doing this? I find that I'm easily able to sustain 566 kills an hour while killing Ripper demons with the method that I've shown in this video. You may be able to receive more, you may be able to receive less. You can find the tool in the description so you can adjust the kills an hour. To do so, simply make a copy of the spreadsheet so that you can adjust your own numbers accordingly. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to disclose that there is no available data on how rare the common drops are when killing these. I can tell you from my sample that it's around 27,000 on average, but my sample is not yet big enough to be valid. So if any of you have a big sample on rune metrics of killing Ripper demons, so we can extrapolate the data and work out exactly how much you're going to get in commons, then please let me know. Because of this, I've rounded it down heavily and assumed that you can make 20,000 on average just from the commons. Which, if you factor in the Ripper pouch, the cost to make it, the 1 in 10,000 drop of the cursed sand, the commons at 20k being heavily undercut, and the Ripper claws and offhand claws with a base chance of 1 in 10,000 off task, you can expect to make 60.4 million GP an hour after the cost of making the pouches themselves. Please note that because we've undercut the value of the commons, that you probably can expect to get even more than this an hour when killing these. But even still, for killing a mob and not even bossing, making 60 million an hour is absolutely insane. That's comparable to high level Solak, AOD, I'm not going to say Telos because we all know how ridiculous that is, but it truly is one of the best non-bossy moneymakers in the game. Please do not fall into the trap of expecting to get here and having an easy ride on your first ever attempt. There's a lot to learn with these, and hopefully I provided you enough information to help streamline the process of you killing these and earning tons of money. Thank you so much for everyone that made it to the end of the video. I wish you all the best of luck when trying this. I'd like to give a massive shout out to all of my supporters and subscribers. We're already at over 600 and we're growing at a rapid rate. I want to thank everyone that's supporting me. You truly have all been amazing. As always, if you found this video useful, drop a like, leave your comments and feedback in the description. As I said, I could really appreciate if you guys have bigger sample sizes of killing these so we can see how much you can expect to get from the commons as accurate as possible. I'll update this when I do so. But thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any great future money making guides that I have planned.